So guys, welcome back to the channel. And this right here, the Jbuddies Pro is actually a over-the-head headset for children. Now it has a sound profile where you can lower the maximum volume with a little button. I'll show that to you in the next section. And it shows right here that there are different ear sizes. And so far it fit over my head without a problem whatsoever, so that's a good thing. No Bluetooth whatsoever. It is a 3.5 braided headphone jack. You have your Fox leather ear cups and things like that. Tangle-free cable, so even if you roll it up and unroll it, it'll keep its original form, at least as long as you don't make it too tight. Also, I do want to say that it doesn't say any type of IP rating or anything like that, but just make sure that you keep this away from water because it has to be connected to a headphone jack, so the device that you're using may not be water resistant either, so just keep that in mind. So far, like I said, it's made for children. An adult can actually wear this, or a teenager, because of the size, but the sound profile may surprise you on how it is, so let's talk about that in this video. So with that being said, descriptions, said that incorrectly. The timestamps are in the description for anyone that wants to skip over to a part that's more catering to what it is that you want to hear. Let's get into the video. So here is the headset right here. It does come with this little booklet, but all you do is basically it gives you Tidal for 3 months for free, and it tells you can get emails and stuff like that, but you gotta worry about that. There's no actual real instructions inside that booklet. So if you flip this open, you can tell the difference between the left side and the right side. There is a little R symbol here and a left right here, but just remember, wherever the headphone jack is, that's going to be the right side for this headset, so that's the fastest way to remember. It does have the physical button right here. If you click it once, it will answer calls and hang up calls if you press it once. If you click once or click again while listening to music or a video, it'll pause and play. If you double click, it'll change the song, and if you triple click, it'll make the song go backwards. There is no volume control on the actual headset. You'll have to use your phone or your device for that. Now, like I said before, or I'm sorry, I didn't say this yet. Inside right here, there's a little button. Heard to click? If you click it to the right, you'll get 85 dP. If you click it to the left, 95. For you people that don't know what that means, I'm gonna explain it real briefly. You can limit the maximum volume that this headset has for your kids, which is a very, very, very important feature. And I'm going to talk about that later on when I hook it up to the Steam Deck and a tablet and play some music for you guys. You can get a more accurate assessment of if this is good for your particular child. Of course, when you unbox it, use it yourself and make sure that you're comfortable with the volume so you know the max volume that your child should be using. Just keep that in mind. You know, young ears can get damaged no matter what kind of headset it is and no matter what safety precautions are there, because they tend to just listen to things without really paying attention to detail. They're young, they don't know better. So we gotta make sure that they're okay. Anyway, the headset feels pretty good. It looks pretty good. Solid plastic right here. I'm not sure if this is metal. It reminds me of kind of a hanger material, but it slides up and down without any issues whatsoever. So you don't have to worry about that getting caught or anything like that. Make sure you don't damage this cord, because if you do, you will lose sound on whatever side that this cord is damaged to, and you'll have to buy a brand new product. Or I would assume that they probably have some type of warranty. I'm not too sure about that. But this feels pretty good. The soft part up top, you got the little JLab symbol right here. It's a pretty solid made headset that I like so far. It does have that braided wire so that if they pull on it, drop their tablet, the cord won't short right away. But it can only take so much abuse, so just keep that in mind. Anyway, with that being said, let's go over to the next section. All right, guys, so you get to see my face. Here's the headset right here. I'm gonna go ahead and put it on to kind of give you guys an assessment of how it feels. Now, I have it on the maximum setting right here where I slid these up all the way to the top because I have a big head. And again, it's made for children 8 and plus. As soon as I place it on my head, it feels very, very good. Now, I do want to also preface this video by saying that I've used this for a couple hours playing, what was the game called? Nier Automata, and I haven't had any soreness or issues whatsoever. Now, when I play this at a higher octave, obviously it's going to have some vibration, and it did give me a little ear irritation, but I'll explain why in the next section. It's not a bad headset. If you're using it for younger kids, I can't stress this enough, keep it at the 85 dP setting. You don't want to put it for the 95. That's more so for adults and growing teenagers, 13, 14 and plus. They might want to blast their music and play it at a louder octave. That's going to work for them. But if you're using it for children that are probably like 8 and plus, 8 to 12 or so, I would say. And again, to each their own. I'm not telling you to listen to anything at maximum volume. That's always bad for your ears. But just kind of keep in mind that children don't really pay attention to how loud something is, so they can hurt themselves, and we have to just make sure that they're okay. But yes, they fit good, they look good. I don't have an issue with them whatsoever. I might even use them for some of my actual YouTube videos, because I do have a whole JLab setup, and I'll show you that in another video for you guys. Anyhow, and no, this is not a sponsored video. This is just me buying stuff from Ross. Let's go over to the next section. All right, guys, so I have the headset right here. I'm gonna put it on my head. I'm actually going to play this song from the beginning. Of course, I tested it out before I actually did this review, being transparent, because I wanna make sure I get the best quality song so I can give you a more accurate assessment of how it sounds. Now, for you guys wondering that skipped to this part, there's a little button right here. If you click it to the left, it goes to 95 dP. To the right, 85. You may wonder what that is. It's to lower the maximum volume. Now, keep in mind, I'm playing this at 100% maximum volume. As you can see, the tablet is already up. I'm not going to lower it at all for this entire video, just to show you guys that it's lower than the typical headset. But keep in mind, since it's an 8-year-old and their bodies are constantly developing, 8+, you want to make sure that, you know, the maximum volume doesn't damage their ears. I'm a perfect example of a person that I was playing video games in front of a TV, and now I wear glasses, so it is what it is. That's totally my fault, and my parents' fault for letting me do that. Anywho, I'm gonna pop this on my head, and let's listen to the song. So it's called Warzone. Yeah, the 85 dP setting, I can actually hear you guys, I can hear myself speak perfectly fine. Normally with headphones that are super, super loud, it overpowers your voice. But because this is made in the minds of, you know, making sure your child can listen to something safely, it's not too loud at all. But it does sound pretty good. The bass is definitely there. Like, it's booming bass, but it's not vibrating booming bass. What I mean by that is sometimes with these headsets, you can feel it vibrate to your bones because you have it so loud, your body feels the vibrations. This headset prevents that type of quality so that, you know, longevity for the person's physical being. Because I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh. A lot of times we play things that are really, really loud, and it's just too much for our bodies to really handle. So we get soreness in our jaws. Sometimes we get headaches or temple hurts or different things like that. It may not happen to the average person that's used to loud noise, but to us that are more sensible to it, you know, you want to have something that's more regulated. But so far it sounds very, very good. So the quality of the music, if I had to be honest with you, this isn't better than the typical JLab headsets that they normally have, like the JLab minis. The quality of bass and stuff like that is substantially lower, but it still does sound like a quality product in my opinion. And again, keep in mind, it's made for children. As an adult, you'll listen to this and say it's not loud enough. But as a younger child, you don't want their eardrum blown out. And I probably repeated myself, but I'll repeat myself as many times as I have to, as long as you know. Don't give your child a pair of Beats. Make sure they get something that won't blow out their eardrums. Now, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna go ahead and click this button right here. Remember I told you with the button right here? Where is it? Let me find it. There we go. You heard it click. Now it's on 95. Now let's see how loud it sounds from that. Ooh, much louder. Okay. It's like, no, these sound really good louder. Okay. All right, so this is what I'm gonna say to you guys. When you turn it up to 95 BP, you can definitely hear a huge difference in the sound profile. It's much louder, the bass is much deeper, the quality of the instruments actually increase also, and it sounds like the balance is a lot better on 95. Though if you put it on 85 at max volume DP, when you switch that button that I just showed you guys, I would say 85 is more ideal for everyday usage for kids, and about maybe 80%, 70% to 80% maximum volume. Because again, you gotta test the product out to make sure that that child is okay with it. You gotta ask a lot of questions because kids will just suffer in silence. The 95, I would say, is more so for adults, teenagers, and people that wanna hear it at a higher octave. I don't suggest putting it in 95 for younger children under the age of 8. I wouldn't even say 9 or 10. I would say like when they hit their 12, 13, 14 years old, when they, you know, when kids are more mature and their bodies are growing, it's better to have it at the higher octave because they can handle those sounds a lot better than a younger child. But it sounds very clear, very clean. The bass sound good. The volume sounds pretty good. The instruments playing, the violin in the background. I don't have any qualms or issues whatsoever. And remember, it's at 100%. And I didn't hear any breakage whatsoever in the music. I didn't hear any static or anything like that. It's a very good headset for the asking price. Remember, I paid $10 for it. The reality is it's around $20 or so. And it may seem a little steep for some people for a corded headset, but at the end of the day, to me, the protection of my child is more important than necessarily the price tag. If it's reasonable and it's a working product, I suggest it. And at 85 for kids at 8 years old, 9, 10, 11, 12, keep it at 85 DP. You increase it to 95 when they reach a certain age, like they're playing games and different stuff like that, and then they'll be more immersed in what it is that they're doing. So with that being said, let's go over to the next test. Alrighty, so for the second test, you already know we're going to test this at the 85 DP, and then we're going to hop over to the 95 DP, which is going to be a much louder volume. Now I'm going to plug this in right now. Actually, let's switch it over first. I have it on 95. Okay, clicked it over to the 85. The headphone jack is on top. Now keep this in mind, this is going to work for a Steam Deck. It's going to work for an Asus ROG, or if it has a headset, it's going to work for a Nintendo Switch. So I'm just giving you an idea because most kids normally use their Nintendo Switch or other systems and they want to play in handheld mode where they won't be disturbed, whether it's car rides, at home, things like that. And you know, it's nice to have a little bit of freedom. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this on my head right now, headset, so that you can see me actually using it. Here we go. All right, let me turn up the maximum volume. Okay, I had to take the headset off just to make sure that it was connected. Sometimes they don't connect right away. All right, so with that being said, the maximum volume on this, it doesn't sound bad at all. I'll leave this run so the music will increase. What I notice about this right away is that normally when you use other headsets that are more bass heavy, I'm noticing that, oh, okay, so when I hit the enemies, it does still sound pretty good, but it sounds like some of the noises are kind of faded into the background where they don't want a person to be overwhelmed with so much background noise, which isn't a bad thing. I think that's actually a good thing because too many noises like explosions, Call of Duty, and all that stuff can actually give you headaches over time. And that's not something that you want your little kid to have. Plus, an 8-year-old shouldn't be playing Call of Duty, but I'm no one's parent, right? All right. Okay, sounds pretty good. And because it's in corded mode, I don't have any lag latency whatsoever in the product. Okay, sounds pretty good. And there's music playing constantly in the background in this particular game. In case you guys are wondering, it's called Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. It's one of the reasons why I'm playing this particular game, because obviously something quiet like a Dark Souls wouldn't be an ideal test to do. We need to hear a lot of noise in the background. All right, sounds pretty good. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is switch it over to the 95 DP. I'm gonna go ahead and click that in. Let me see if I can find it. It's weird that they put the button in here like this. All right, I clicked it over. So again, at maximum volume, I never turned it down. Ooh, sounds much better. Much louder too. Yeah, I don't suggest 95 for gaming. Even as an adult, I feel like this is a little too loud in my opinion. Yeah, it's very, very loud. Yeah, okay. Okay, I think I got enough information for you guys right now. So here's the thing. At 85 DP, it was still loud, like the sound effects and the graphics in the background. Whenever the person swings, you hear their voice, or when they hit an enemy in this particular game, the bass kicked in on that moment. That's the good thing about wearing headphones. It makes you more immersed in whatever it is that you're doing, whether it's podcasting, video games, or whatever, right? Anyway, let me stick on topic. At 100% at 85 DP, I would still suggest playing this at 70 to 80% maximum, because depending on the game that you're playing with explosions and loud noises and conversations and things happening, it may sound or feel a little irregular. I noticed that the sounds were bouncing back and forth as I was attacking enemies and things like that. And it felt like the background music was a little bit lower than the actual combat that was happening. It felt a little bit unbalanced when I was gaming in this particular game, but it's still not bad at all. At the 95 DP option, though, it was just abnormally loud. I was actually getting soreness in my ears, and regardless of whether this has foam or not to protect you, it was just way too loud at 100%. I do want to also keep in mind that I'm only doing this video at 100% to show you just how loud the headset is. I've done other videos with other headsets, for example, these or other over-the-heads, and they're way louder overall than the Jlab Jbuddies Pro. But ideally, this isn't bad for adults or kids. I just kind of wish that the sound profile was a little bit better in music quality. It's not bad, but if you're using a JBL headset, or if you're coming from another Jlab headset, or Jlab earbuds or something like that, you're going to notice that those products might have better overall sound than this one, because they're lowering some of the specifications for obviously a younger audience to not damage their eardrums. And make sure you just don't allow your child to play it at 100%. If you do that, about, like I said, 80 to 70 maximum, preferably 50, 40% or so they can still hear things going around them, that's the more ideal thing to do. So I like them so far. Don't really have anything bad to say about them. They sound pretty good. So the question is, are these headsets actually worth the asking price? I like to say that they are. It's a company that you heard of, which is Jlab. A lot of times when you buy these types of speakers, even though they say 40mm drivers, all 40mm drivers are not created equally. So if you compare this to, say, a Soundcore by Anchor product, you're going to get an entirely different sound profile, because this is in fact catered to children. So it's hard to really compare it unless I use other kid headphones. And since I'm not familiar with in the market, I only did like maybe one or two headsets that were made for children, it's on par of what I expect. It's not going to be too loud, it's not going to be too low. Though at 100%, depending on the type of device that you're using, and keep this in mind, this is very important, parents. If you have a Motorola phone versus an iPhone versus a Samsung versus a OnePlus, your headset volume is not going to be the same for all of those products. A lot of time it's the product that may limit how loud you can listen to something. So make sure that you yourself as a parent test this before giving it to your child. I cannot stress that enough. But for the price tag, $10, if you see it at Five Below, if you see it at Ross, it's actually a really good product. I would be bold enough to say that if you plug this up to your computer and you just use it as a listening device, to kind of like listening to podcasts and different things, you do recordings, this is actually good enough. Though I do have better quality headphones, I do understand that sometimes everyone's budget isn't to buy a $100 headset. So they may not even be able to buy a $30 headset. Sometimes you still want quality of life without having to spend money that you don't have. And I think that this does a really good job for that generation that does not like Bluetooth products. It's a solid product. But anyway, that's all I got to say. Like and subscribe like always, and I will see y'all in the next video.